Hi guys, Ryuu here from Blender Bros, and in this tutorial we're gonna be designing a sci-fi terminal. Let's go. Alright, so we're gonna be working with machine tools, hard ups, and box cutter. I got videos on all these add-ons on my YouTube channel, so if you don't know how to use them, go ahead and grab them, and please don't ask me why I'm using add-ons, because every time someone asks me these questions, part of me dies. If you would like to learn more about add-on workflow, especially hard ups and box cutter, I highly recommend our free course, Sci-Fi Terminal Design in Blender, which will teach you a lot about hard ups, box cutter, and how to work with hard surfaces and add-on in Blender. It's a free course, link in the video description. So here we're going to make this cube a bit larger. So scale it on Z and Y. And maybe this, this kind of size is all right. Let's go to edit mode, and we're going to grab the loop here with Control R. Grab the GG and slide it a bit here to create this kind of like a, sort of angled face. That's cool. And we're going to clean that. And this is edge here. And if I'm going to start, beveling this, you'll see what happens. So I'm just gonna go here to operations in object mode with hard ups and clean mesh, which will get rid of this junk. So now here we're gonna run a bevel, but before we do that, we're gonna apply scale, otherwise the bevel might look a little bit weird. So Control A in object mode, apply scale. So here, and we're gonna run a bevel manually here. You could just go with, Control click on a mark and create a procedural bevel. But I can't be bothered. I'm just gonna do it this way, and if I need to remove this bevel, I can always use Mesh Machine, yet another add-on. 12 segments will do, I think. Maybe even 10, something like that. Yeah, cool. Now the order of running bevels is important, because for example, if I run the bevel here first, then I can run a bevel like this, and if I run a bevel like that, then my this bevel is gonna look completely different. You see. So order of applying bevels is really important. You need to think about edge flow and how you want your design to go. So here we can design another bevel. Maybe 8 segments is enough. You can see segments in the bottom here. So that many. And then I'm going to use Mesh Machine with Alt X to symmetrize to the other side. If you don't have Mesh Machine, just use hard ups. Now you can see that after applying sharpen, we get this weird shading. Let's just alt click on sharpen to introduce weighted normal modifier. Now here we can run another modifier on top. I'll just go with chamfer. It's gonna look pretty cool. On the bottom I'm gonna leave it flat. That's that's fine. Now here in orthographic view from the front, press Shift V, enable this view align ortho, which will allow you to cut in orthographic view in a way that's going to be aligned to your view, so perpendicular to the z-axis, and will not follow the angle of the face, because if you don't do that, box cutter will just follow the angle of the face. You don't want that. Here we want to have this nice straight cut like that. Okay, shift click to shift it to live, and then we're gonna go to Cube menu, settings, and shift click on shade solid. We're going to grab this face here, move it a little bit further away, and grab this edge here, Control B that, scroll down to create a chamfer like this, and we're going to slice this. Okay, so shift to remove the cutter, D and gone, and we're going to slice it now. Okay, so we're gonna slice it here, right? You can hold Control and slice it like this, and maybe like this, and here. Okay, and we don't need that. We can remove this. You can press B and bevel this a little bit, move your mouse to the left, and 8 segments will do. Don't overdo it. This is cool. Awesome. And we got this shape here embedded. There's some shading problem, just shift click on sharpen and fix it. Easy peasy. Alright, we can add a bevel here a little bit. Also these corner edges here, if I scroll that, could be slightly beveled like that. You could just mirror this cutter to the other side with Mesh Machine and mirror this across as well. So select cutter, shift select shape, Alt X, and just mirror to the other side so it's mirrored. Cool, so we got this shape. This one's a little bit, wide, so just scale it a bit on the x-axis, so kind of, you know, sort of fits inside here, maybe even a bit more, you know, just like that. That's pretty cool. Awesome. So here we're gonna create another cut with a box. So I'll switch the box with box cutter, pressing D, and we're going to slice this here like this. Press X and you know, slash it. And now we can create another cut on top of this here. So we could just grab that and, you know, create like another cut here. Maybe going like this. We're gonna echo this shape there. Remove this here. Press B for a little bit of a bevel scroll. Move your mouse to the left and, you know, and slice it. And you're gonna get this kind of like a shelling on top of that. We're going to mirror this across itself, and then this one across this shape. One more time, click, shift click, and boom, right? And we got this cool shape there. This here at the top, let's just control click sharpen. We can bevel this, just unmark this edge because we don't need to mark sharp there. Create a, you know, kind of a smooth, sort of like a rounded bevel here, and we're good to go. Here we can create you know, a chamfer. So let's actually bevel this one and bevel this one, and then click alt click and click on loop select here, and we can create another bevel here or a chamfer. I think chamfer is gonna look a bit better. Alt X to the other side with mesh machine and boom. Okay, cool. So now here on top we're going to create another cut. So let's just cut it here according to this face. So let's grab this, you know, square cut, and we're gonna cut this way here through. Okay, like this, all the way through, right? And shift click to live. And we're going to shift this bool. Okay, so let's go to Q menu and shift bool, which will change it to a slash, which is what we want. Now let's just recover this, and I think what I want is bevels here on the bottom. So let's just bevel this here, like that. Okay, there we go. That's a bit better. And what we can do now is grab this cutter here from the side. We don't need it to be so deep, so we can just, you know, slice it in here like this. And we're going to actually slash it here with an end gun like that. And press B for bevel and bevel this. And press X and slash it, okay? And this bit here, what we're gonna do with it is delete it. Let's grab this bit here and let's apply this. So sharpen. We're gonna grab this top part here, this one. And what we're gonna do is we're going to run a shift click on curve extract, so a bit of solidification, Alt M and shift click on mud to create glass. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to grab these faces here in the bottom. So let's apply that. So sharpen and grab these faces in the bottom. We're gonna move them away from this original mesh, because you can see that there's a bit of a Z fighting here because these surfaces are too close to another. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move this face a bit deeper. So here, grab these faces and Alt S and just move them a little bit away from the original surface, and you're gonna have clean shading here, okay? So we can create some cooling now. We need to scale it on X as well, because you can see there's a Z fighting on X here. So SX, scale it just a little bit in, and you know, boom, there you go. You got clean shading everywhere. Okay, cool. So here we could create kind of like handles. So we could grab a cube and in the front view, just drop it on here. SX, scale it a bit more. Move it somewhere here. Scale it a bit more. Make it thinner and larger. Maybe not so large. Move it somewhere here. Cool. Grab an end gun and we're gonna start slicing. So slice it here. Hold control. Could go either away from the shape or closer to the shape. I think away from the shape is gonna be interesting. This could end up going here and in. And then we're going to cut the external part out, okay? Like this, right? Press B for bevel, scroll, and just don't overdo it. I mean, 8 is enough. Press tab, B, and then move your mouse to create like a tiny bevel and click and cut it. And this one we're gonna union, so here and, you know, union. Now before we apply this, right, before we apply this, ever scroll that, what you want to do is apply the cutter, so operations and smart apply. And we're gonna grab this edge here, okay, and we're going to grab this edge here, right, and we're going to chamfer them, okay? So Control B and, right, okay. Now here, before we apply this, let's actually fix the shading here. So Shift 2 and click on this and Shift click on sharpen, there we go. And let's recover this cutter here and we're going to cut it still, yeah? So let's just remove this junk here because it's confusing. There we go. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna cut something like this, okay? Hold Control and cut it here, press B for bevel, scroll it, and cut something like this. It's gonna look pretty cool, okay? Awesome. And I think this will do. So here we could cut another opening, you know. You could do something like this if you wanted to. Or you could do it with an end gun. So you could do something like this in here, just for fun. Press B and scroll it. Boom, right? And, you know, sharpen to apply this, yeah? And there you go, got a really cool shape. Awesome. Here we're gonna have the chamfer, so click Alt click and just loop select, Control B and create a small chamfer, okay? Now the trick to chamfers, okay, is to create different sizes of them, right? So here, for example, if I sharpen that, click Alt click and just, you know, loop select and make sure that this one actually should be a bevel as well. So before we chamfer this one, we need to, you know, bevel this bit so the chamfer is gonna flow smoothly here. Otherwise, you're gonna get this weird corner, see? So what you wanna do here is you want to bevel this one first, then you wanna bevel this one like this around. Okay, so Control B here, there we go. And then you want to run chamfer here. And before we do that, actually, let's run bevel here. Now, this one here needs to go all the way around, otherwise you're gonna get this weird sort of you know, pulling here. So just select the entire thing and just Alt X, and then click Alt click, loop select, and now you can create a beautiful chamfer here around. This could be a bit bigger, and that's okay. This could be like an opening chamfer here. Now you see that we're losing a bevel here. This is caused by the bevel losing the angle, because the angle here is not sharp enough for the bevel to catch. This is a very, there's a very shallow angle between these two faces. So what we need to do is just simply switch bevel, you know, limit method to weight, which will catch this bevel here nicely. I mean this angle. Make this a bit smaller with shift, because it's a bit too crazy, and we cook it with fire. Here we're going to create like a sort of like a railing or something. So we can grab this edge, you can borrow that, and Control click on curve extract to rip it off. In a side view, we're just gonna bring it here. So make sure it nicely echoes this line. And grab this one, GG, bring it up, EY, move it in here. And the same here, GG, drop it down, EY, and bring it in. Grab these two, Shift Control B, and don't overdo it. I think 4 of them will do, because we're gonna be, you know, we're going to be smoothing it. So press S, and then 2, and then Control 2. And this is too big, so we're going to adjust this curve, make it smaller, and move it somewhere here. And mirror to the other side. Boom. And we can, you know, remove this. We don't need that. That looks pretty cool. Make it a bit thicker. There we go. Also, this one could be going here, which means we're gonna have to kind of fix these, you know, these verts here. So, I mean, verts, well, you know, curve points. You know, just make it a bit more angular and kind of so it feels a bit more natural. These ones could be moved as well a little bit, so you know, just to relax this angle here a little bit. This one could be moved further away. There we go. That'll do. Cool. So we got that going on. Now here on the top, we're gonna add some small bit here. So we could do it with a cube actually, you know, scale it in and GZ and just add a regular cube here. Kind of like a sort of a some kind of a part here. Just chamfer this. We could you know, bevel these and bevel this one, or chamfer it. Same here, we could just chamfer this and maybe bevel this bit here, move it a bit up, and somewhere here sharpen and, you know, union this together, right? And there you go. That's kind of like a, you know, top part here. And then we could create a cut here. So we could create a cut here. So it's gonna be a clear paneling going on like this. Just cut it through, press X and slash it. And then you need to mirror this, right? So recover this cutter, and I think it's gonna be better if you're going to bevel these. It's gonna just flow a bit smoother. There we go. And you know, you could, when you sharpen this, the bevel's gonna catch. So, but in addition to that, if you wanted to, you could just run a little bit of a chamfer. So, you know, let's just grab this. Maybe we could grab this inner part. It's gonna be better, I think. So here, click, alt click. Well, let's just apply this, and let me see that. We could run a chamfer from. Actually, we could run it all over the place. So, just run the loop here with mesh machine and just, you know, just create like a tiny chamfer, okay? And here we could bevel these, okay? And we could recalculate sharpen. So Control Shift click on sharpen, which will remove sharpen from areas we don't need and add them to areas we do need them on. So there you go. Just to create a nice separation here between these two elements. And you're gonna clearly see there's a paneling going on, right? Here we could have some maintenance panel here on the side. So we could just, you know, grab a box and draw something like this, maybe even a bit bigger, kind of like that. Press B for bevel and just, you know, cut it in. Press X to slash it, apply this, and simply run the bevel here. Okay, and on this one, you could run the chamfer. So click, alt click. And, you know, and run a chamfer. So it is a bevel and chamfer. Now you can see we got this pooling here. So what you can do is when you create this chamfer, go here and turn off the loop slide, which is gonna fix it, the problem. Okay. Here we could have a cutout for a terminal, like a keypad. So cut it in, press B, and just press X, and, you know, there you go, and just sharpen this. And we could have, you know, this F for face, and we could bevel this as well. Did it work? Oh, it's a chamfer. Let's just bevel this. Let's apply scale here. There we go. And then bevel it. There we go. And here, apply scale and click, alt click, and this could be chamfer, okay? So you have this, see like how it separates nicely, how it pounds it up? All these chamfers and bevels, you know, they really have a massive, play a massive role in terms of, you know, design. Here, this the shading problem is caused by these lines going through bevels. So very simply, you can fix that by creating new connections here. That's not going to, you know, cause issues, and you can delete these mental edges. Now every single boolean needs 2 connections, so there you go. There's going to be a second connection. You can delete that, and alt X to the other side, and the shading problem is gone. Here, this one could have some, you know, kind of like opening for screws and stuff, so we could cut it here with Shift, so Shift click. So now this cutter, let's just make it a bit bigger, and we could go to edit mode. Select everything with A, Shift D, and move it in here, and then Shift D, and move it somewhere here, alright? And you got 3 openings. And then this one could be cut as well, to be honest. So what we could do here is run another cut like this, and cut it here like that, and press X. Now with this cut here, it's important to run a bevel. So run a bevel here. This one could be smaller, and this one could be a little bit more supple. So it's gonna sort of be, you know, stay consistent with these curved areas here. Let's just sharpen that and sharpen this. And I would definitely, you know, want some either chamfer here, or yeah, maybe chamfer is gonna be okay. So let's see if we can run a chamfer here all the way up to maybe this area here, right? So run a chamfer like that, and I think it's gonna look pretty cool. See, there you go, there's this separation. You can't see the top, so it doesn't matter. And it's gonna create a nice separation here between these two, okay? That's really cool. Awesome. So there you go, that's our terminal. And all we need to do now is just texture it, which is not really difficult to do because you can use hard ups. So you could go to, you know, this cycles view and start texturing. So Alt M and simply drop a texture. I would suggest going with something less reflective. It's going to be easier to render this. So increase the roughness, and boom, there you go. You probably want 2 colors. So we would, for example, grab different color here. So Alt M and just add another matte. And we could make it a bit more metallic. So, you know, brighter, but maybe a bit more rough. Something like that, like a brushed aluminum. This one could be a bit darker. So you got 2 different, you know, 2 different mattes going on here. So the silver matte's gonna be just an accent. You know, you don't want to overdo it. You want to go easy on that. Main color is the dark one, and then you have this accent. Some of these parts could be metallic, like this, for instance, here. And this one could be, you know, of a slightly maybe darker color, or it could be a glass as well. We could actually make this glass a bit darker, like this, you know. Now this one is brighter because underneath we have no matte, but we can select this bit and make it silverish, like that. So you're gonna be able to see through that glass, but you can't see through that glass, okay? Which is pretty cool. And here in the back, in fact, what we could do is add another cube. Okay, scale it in, move it in here, and create kind of like a back piece here. Let me see that. Scale it in like that. There we go. That will do. And this could be also the same color, and we could apply scale here. And maybe bevel this a little bit here like that. And maybe we could create some kind of, you know, here we could just either bevel it or actually chamfer this as well. And create a tiny bevel in here. And then maybe tiny bevel here. Or, you know, a chamfer, right? And just bevel the whole thing and apply weighted normals. And here we could create some kind of a vent. So we could just slide it with a, you know, with a cube here like this. And just press X and slice it. And here we could create really tiny sort of vents. So, you know, press V, X, and just scroll it to the oblivion. Hold hold shift and line them and just simply cut through, right? And I cut the wrong thing because I just wanted to cut this one. So one more time. V, X, and shift click to cut it through, and GX, and you know, move it somewhere here so it doesn't go through. And you see there's gonna be like a sort of like a, you know, vent in the back, and the rest could be done with decals. So for example, you could grab our decal pack. We have a massive decal pack. It's like 480 or something decals and 12 trim sheets. It's insanity. Then also have my decals on my Blender Marketing Gumroad. So you could grab these if you wanted to. You could grab this one, it's pretty cool. And put this one somewhere here, make it a bit larger. And you know, D and project it. You could add some of my Japanese decals, they're really cool. They come with translations, so you can actually see what you're dropping. They're really good quality. And you could drop a decal here. Now when you drop colorful decals, what you want to do, you want to drop the alpha, okay, here, so they're not so poking in terms of brightness, okay? You know, drop it down and it's gonna look nice and subtle and not in your face, okay? They're really awesome. And like I said, they translate it, so if you hover over a decal, it would tell you what it means. You see here, for example, never open when hot. And when there's a text, there's a translation, switch off, stop operation. We could do that as well here. You know, so we could have two decals in here like that. In fact, this one could be in the bottom or somewhere here on the side. And I just project it and, you know, drop the alpha as well. There you go. Then you got the really bright stuff in here, so you want to offset that here. So in the front here, we could have something as well. Maybe, you know, like a round sticker. Put it somewhere here. Now remember, this is operated by humans, so you cannot make them too big. They need to be, you know, sort of like a human size relevant. So here in the bottom, we could drop our UI decal from the UI pack, like a keypad, for example, here, right? So you could go, you know, could drop that, and here you could drop some. Let's say this one. This is from our Blender Bros pack. We have so many decal packs, it's insane. And just array this, scroll, create kind of like, I don't know, speaker or some stuff. Boom, you know what I mean? And here underneath, you can create decals as well, yeah? So let's just bevel this. I think it's beveled. And then we can go to our vent pack. We have some really cool vent decals here. Project it, and then actually let's make it a bit smaller. Maybe it's a bit too big. A bit smaller. If you don't know how to use Decal Machine, I have a massive video on Decal Machine. I have videos on all kinds of, you know, add-ons I'm using. So here we could get some, maybe one of my floor panels. Only because it's a floor doesn't mean you cannot use it on a terminal, you know what I mean? Where is it? I have so many decals, guys, sometimes I get confused. I think it's this one. Where is it? Come on. Here, this one, yeah. So we could pop it in here. Maybe rotate it. There we go. And drop it somewhere here. Scale it in a bit. Oh, that's too much. Something like that. And project it. And you see what I mean? You can actually see that through this glass, yeah. You can make this glass a bit less dark, so you could go to matte here, to shader, and you know, increase the transparency. Could add a bit of color, a bit of blue, maybe not as saturated. And then make it brighter, you see. So you can really see through the glass. On top of that, what we could do here, in fact, you know what, let me just hide this glass for a second and do it again because I can't see where I'm putting this. So just drop it in here. That's too strong. You know, you don't want it to be in your face. Make it smaller and put it somewhere here. And project it, right? And then Alt H. There you go. See what I mean? That looks pretty awesome. So you got that. And then you can add some other elements. Like for instance, you know, if you're detailing something like this, you don't want to add stuff all over the place. You want to add it and add on the edges to emphasize, you know, the shape, sort of like complement the shape, not ruin it. So here, for instance, what I would do is I would go here to, this is a fantastic decal. It creates a really nice dark sort of element. You could create like clips that kind of, you know, you use to lock this side panel, right? Shift D and move it somewhere here. See how I'm using, how I'm placing them? I'm placing them in corners so they're not intrusive. Double click on this decal to select all of them, project, boom. See what I mean? It frames this detail and leaves this beautiful open space here. You could have some, you know, name here or something. We have a new decal pack with corporate names. It's available only for our membership, coaching and community members. So if you want this pack, you need to join. But it's a good idea to join because there is a lot of value provided on our membership program. Here, you see I dropped this name here in the bottom. Looks really awesome. Here too in the back, we could have some kind of a detail, maybe something like this. You know, drop it here in the back and just project it. Boom, and mirror to the other side. All the decals you want to mirror, right? So click, alt click, and you know, mirror. And when you mirror text, you need to invert them, okay? Because you see it's flipped, right? So go to mirror settings, and under data you need to flip the this mirror you, and it's gonna be okay. Okay, so every text when you mirror it, you need to flip it, okay? Cool. So that's that. This one's a bit bright, so we could actually, you know, match it with the background. So it's gonna be a detail, but not as eye-poking, okay? Here in the front and top, we could have some text as well. So maybe we could grab this valve text. All these decals, guys, are available with our packs. So project, boom, right? Here in the bottom, we could have some two tiny, I mean tiny elements. Maybe, you know, like 2 bolts. Do you know what I mean? Like really small ones. So project just to kind of, you know, frame or sort of underline this valve sign, you know. You really don't want to overdo it. Like here, we could have also some tiny decals. We could have, again, this one, for instance. And you could actually project it, you know, half of it. So if I project it now, part of it's going to get cut off, yeah. So you see what I mean? It's going to get cut off, and it's going to create kind of like a illusion of a cutout here on the side, which is pretty cool. And you can select it in edit mode, Shift Z and drop it down, and then simply mirror to the other side. And on top of that, you could create some kind of like a pointing arrows to it with decals. So we could go here and grab, for example, one of these. Come on. And scale them down and rotate them. There we go. And, you know, move one here, make it smaller. Shift Z. Your details do not have to be large, guys. Okay, they can be small. And they will add a lot of flair to your design. There you go. See what I mean? It looks pretty cool. And this one could be a little bit lower. There's a bit congested in here. So GZ, drop it down. Maybe even scale it just a little bit. We could actually position it in orthographic mode somewhere here. It's going to look a little bit better. So there's a bit more space around it. And there's your terminal, guys. Really easy. And then, you know, all you need to do is just render it. I'm using a very simple HDRI. I'm using abandoned slipway from polyevan.com. All you need to do to render this is grab a plane and then RX90, scale it, drop a matte on it. Maybe not as dark and maybe not metallic. It should be metallic but brighter, you know. So this terminal is going to stand out. Move it to the back, RZ, rotate it, scale it, you know, add a camera, and you're good to go. Maybe that's a bit too big. You could also rotate this light a little bit to create a bit of a better angle, because light comes from the right side. You see this is really bright. It would be better if it was coming from the left side to right the front of the panel. So what you could do is go to your shade editor, go to world, and simply, you know, grab this z-axis and rotate your HDRI till the light is actually falling, you know, from this side, right? It makes more sense, right? So this one is a bit more in shadow. This one is more lit because it's the front of the terminal. You can really see the details. Looks pretty cool. Now here on let me just remove this background. Here in the front, actually gonna add one more decal here on these panels here. So we could add a tiny detail. I'm not sure where it was, which decal pack it was, but I'll find it. On this one, and rotate it. So adjust it, make this smaller, and just, you know, drop it somewhere here. A bit more narrow, and project it, and layer to the other side. It's gonna add a bit more details here on top to bring more attention here to the top, and, you know, it's gonna look pretty cool. If you wanted to offset this light here, you could add another light here somewhere in the bottom, like a really small one, or even some, you know, some light here, or just maybe here, some indication. Or what you could do is run these, you know, kind of the yellow and black strips. I don't know what they're called. Where the fuck do I have them? Oh, these ones. There we go. That's the one. That's also from the Japanese pack. You can grab them, adjust it, you know, and you could just, you know, run something like this here. Project it. Okay, and then grab this and move it along the axis. So select this face, go to global, click on this plus to create custom orientation. Select everything, Shift Z or Y, and there you go. And you can move it along, align it properly here, and then Shift R, and you got yourself a strip on the side. Grab that, and you're gonna drop the alpha because insanity. Select this one and drop the alpha. And copy to the other side. And here you could cut it, you know. So what you could do is select these verts here and literally delete them. So boom, you see, and you're gonna get left only with this side here. The one on the top is cool, but if you don't like it, you can delete it as well. Select the verts and you know, boom, right? And you only got the strips on the side. And it's gonna bring a bit of attention here to this area. And if it's too much, you know, you can just always go here and delete one of them. So if you don't need all of them, right? So just delete one. You could also use the materials from the new Kitops pack by Jeep Walters, and they were updated to properly display in EV and cycles. It's definitely EV materials, and it's really fun. They're fantastic. You add them with Kitops. You can do it through Hardops as well, but you need Kitops. You can get the free version of Kitops for this to work, and you got all these amazing, you know, kind of mats here. Like for example, the grime mats, which are fantastic. Let me just show you very quickly. Like this one, add mat, and you can add dirt to them as well. They're really great. There's a link in the video description. Grab it if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.